What's going on, everybody? And in this week's lesson, I'm going to teach you a song that I've taught to almost every one of my students for the past 20 years, and that is About a Girl from Nirvana. Now let me tell you why I teach this song to every one of my beginner guitar players, especially early on in your playing, right? You're going to get E minor and G, two essential open string chords, right? We're going to talk about strumming, down and up. Okay, we're going to talk about power chords, dead notes. We're going to learn this E chord, tying over beats. Okay, so there's just a lot of good guitar technique that we need to kind of get going early on in our playing, and this song is great, and it's a fun song, right? So let's jump in. We're on standard tuning. Now, the song starts off with a chord progression, E minor and G. Okay, so now if you're a beginner and we're learning about our strumming, this is for you right here, right? Because it's simple rhythms, quarter notes and eighth notes, nothing else, all right? So we get the real concept of going down for our quarter notes, down, up for our eighth notes, right? If I just play this E minor chord, open string E, 2-2 on the fifth string with our middle finger and ring finger, and then the next three strings are open, that gives us our E minor chord. So now, basically, we can strum down, down, up. And that gives us a 1-2 end. Okay, and then we're gonna move to a G chord. Again, if you're just unfamiliar with the G chord, 3-2, open, open, 3-3. Middle finger, first finger on 3 and 2. Next two strings are open. Ring finger, pinky on 3 and 3. Okay, so now you can strum this. Now, when you listen to the acoustic version or live versions or the album version off Bleach, right, it's fast, so that kind of makes the song hard. But for the most part, you're just kind of strumming this. So I take a little leeway with the rhythm just so I can teach variation in strumming, right? So we're gonna do that here, but when you play along with especially the Bleach album, once you get past the initial first two chord hits, you're basically strumming a lot more eighth notes, okay? And I'll get to that when we get there. So what we can do is we can go. Right? And you might notice a couple things, but first I want to talk about the rhythm. We can go 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So I tag on more eighth notes the second time around. Now, when you listen to the album, it sounds like he does that the first time, but then every point after that, it's more eighth notes. Like that. So feel free to do that, but if you're just starting out, it's a great way to just learn some basic counting and strumming, right? Eighth notes are always gonna be down and up. We wanna align our strumming hand with downbeats and up beats. Now, there's another thing I wanna talk about when you're playing these chords. And this is found especially in Cobain's playing, but other players as well. And I learned a lot of Nirvana in my early days, so I do it all the time. And that's the sense where when you're changing chords, you don't have to like that. He does this trick where when you strum that last eighth note, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and notice what I did? I'm strumming up on open strings, right? And in this song, in this chord progression, in this key, the first three strings, that's actually an E minor chord. So we're not really playing anything out here. But the trick of it is you play open strings to help your chord transitions. And that's why I say play your E minor chord with your middle finger and ring finger. And this way you can play your G chord the way you normally do. Don't play it with your first two fingers to make this change. Right? And I know that's easy, but because we're playing those open strings, it allows us and gives us the time to pick up our hand and place it down. I'm exaggerating here. Just like that. And you can do this almost through the entire song as we'll see. Okay, so that's the verse, that's, you know, the intro of the song. It's just two chords. And then we're gonna move to another aspect, which is imperative to our early guitar playing, and that is power chords, right? So we're gonna move to the 4th fret of our 5th string and the 4th fret of our low string down to the 2nd fret of our low string. Those are our 3 chords, okay? And I would encourage you to play power chords not with just 2 fingers or barring with your ring finger, but actually playing the 3 notes with our 1st finger, ring finger, and pinky. All right, that will set us up for success when we move on to bar chords, because you need to do that to play bar chords. All right? So we're gonna keep the same rhythm for the first 2 chords. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and right there on those first 2 chords, 4 and 4, okay? And now we're gonna do that rhythm on that F sharp or the 2nd fret. And this is gonna introduce a couple of new concepts, and that is 1, a dead note, and then 2, a tie, okay? So we're really playing, if I were to just play, that would be all 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what a tie is we strum and we let the rhythm carry over, we make that note longer, right? And we don't attack it. Just like that. And you'll notice that I keep my strumming the same, but when I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I strum down and I miss because I want to keep time with my right hand. And that is my phone ringing. So again, we want to just make sure we keep our right hand strumming to keep that time count going in our right hand. And that's what a tie is, right? So, and the other thing part of that is we're gonna play a dead note. And again, if you don't know how to play a dead note, you basically just, if you're playing this power chord, just take the pressure off of your fingertips. Don't squeeze as hard. This way, you get that percussive sound, a muted note or a dead note. And when you're looking at tabs, it's X's, right? That's what that means. Okay, so we're gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's that tie sneaking in, right? It's on the upbeat of 2, carries over the 3rd beat, and then you attack again on the upbeat, okay? That creates a nice syncopation feel. It's a very common rhythm. You see it all the time. Okay, so that's that part. Excellent. Now, you could even sneak in the lift up your hand, play open strings technique here. Right? It just kind of adds to the overall feel, right? Especially in Nirvana, right? It's kind of messy here and there. It's not perfection. We're not playing Dream Theater here, right? We kind of want that noise a little bit, but we've got to keep it controlled. And that's the important part. Okay, so you're gonna do that part twice, and then we're gonna put a little tag on it, and now we go from this E power chord, O2, to this E power chord. Right, 7th fret of the 5th string, 7, 9, 9. And that's important because we're learning octaves, right? Open E, 7th fret of the next string, E. And when you do that, since it's E, you can keep the low string open. So don't worry about that if you hit it. If you don't like that sound, remember your first finger is gonna be here on the 5th string the entire time. So when you move up, the tip of your first finger, you probably can't see it, is gonna nudge up on my low string. So I'm not getting any noise, I'm not getting any pitch out of that note, okay? Very nice. And now we're gonna go to A and C, which is the 5th fret of the low string to the 8th fret of the low string. All right, and those of you really quick and really good ears, that's actually the same rhythm we did on the 2nd fret or the F sharp down here. It's the same rhythm. I'm just moving chords. Okay, 5 to 8, and you can play the dead note as you move from 5 to 8. just like that, okay? And again, you can sneak in that upstroke open string on those eighth notes. To help keep you going in time. And none of those notes are gonna sound out of key or anything like that. Okay, so that's basically the entire song. You can map it out for yourselves, and the only thing that left to talk about is the guitar solo. And again, it's a nice, accessible solo for beginner guitar players. Okay, it introduces some slides, some hammer-ons, and it's got a pentatonic framework. What else can you ask for, right? And it's repetitive too. It's the same thing over and over again with a slight variation in it, okay? So we're gonna play the low string open, and then we're gonna go on the 5th and 4th strings, 5, 7, 5, 7. And I would hammer on those notes, pick 5, slam down on 7. So we're gonna play that note again after we land on 7, and then again to slide it to 9. Okay, and then I like to play it like this. You know, so you can easily play it with your first finger and do a little barring action with your first finger. But when we're gonna talk about what those notes are, that's fine. But again, I would encourage you to play it perhaps like this, because it's comfortable for me, and I'll show you, and I'll explain why in a second. Right, so we have the open, sliding to 9, and then we're gonna cross string 9 on the G string, back to 9 on the D string. Very simple, and then after we attack the 9, slide, don't hit it again, and then do the same thing. Like that, and kind of let those notes ring out. Now, why do I play it with my ring finger and pinky? Because if I were to play a power chord with the 5th string root, as example, this E chord, I said this is E minor pentatonic, well, I'm playing 9 and 9. So it's not, if I can move my power chord around, kind of makes sense for my pinkies to be there. My fingers, my pinky and ring finger to be there. And I can add a little vibrato to it as well, okay? Now, I said it's a variation, so we're gonna do this 4 times, and on the 2nd and 4th time, we're gonna add 1 more note. And then all we're gonna do is pick out the G string again. Just like that, all right? So I'll play it back to back 4 times so you can see that. All right, there you go. And then you're gonna go back that part. There's no other parts. You're gonna, I think you build that last one up twice, and then there's a build up. Like that at the end. So just watch out for that. Map out the songs for yourself. It's a good exercise. Intro, verse, chorus, solo, all that kind of stuff. And there you go, Nirvana, About a Girl. I teach this and have taught it to hundreds of students over the last 20 years I've been teaching guitar. It's a great song to learn for beginners, as you can see as it touches up all of these points. Open position chords, rhythmic strumming, dead notes, power chords, and an easy guitar solo. All right? So there you go. Down in the description below, you can find a link for the tabs if you want them. And then, as always, let me know what you come up with. So until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.